Hey guys, it's Brittany. Welcome back to my channel where I talk about being a mom while also doing a million other things and not forgetting who you are and your goals because you are more than a mama. So today we're going to talk about the Spectra S9 pump. This is a pump that offers a little bit more freedom than your traditional pump. So in this video, we're going to go over unboxing what you get, features and functionalities, pros, cons, and then make sure you stay to the end because I'll give you my final verdict on the Spectra S9. But before we get started, if you like this video, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share, tell someone about the channel. So let's get started. Okay, so when you first get the pump, of course you'll get the pump. You will get your flanges. I think it comes with two. I honestly can't remember. But the regular Spectra comes with two sizes, like a 24 and a 28. I think the Spectra S9 does too. Don't quote me on that though. You get, of course, your duckbills, your tubing, and your backflow backstop protectors. It is the same as the Spectra S2 and S1. So if you happen to actually have those, you can use the same ones, intermatch them, mix and match, doesn't matter. Now we're gonna talk about costs. So this pump costs $179. So it's about typical of most breast pumps. I wanna say the S2 is probably like $159, something around that nature. So it's about $20 more expensive. It's the same cost as a Baby Buddha. So in terms of your pumps, it's priced regularly. It's not more expensive than a regular pump. It's not less expensive than a regular pump either. Okay, so now we're gonna talk about features. So this pump weighs about 1 pound, so it's pretty light. It has a light. You turn it on, it has like a backlight to it, not an actual light, but a backlight, so you can actually see the screen if you're pumping in the dark. In terms of your suction levels, this suction goes up to a 10 in expression mode, which is the mode where the milk is actually coming out versus your stimulation mode. So that has 5 levels. On stimulation side, 10 on your expression side. The pump has a memory feature, so if you can see, I turned it back on and it's already at a 10, and that's because last time when I turned it off, it was at a 10. I absolutely hate that feature because when you start pumping, you start from stimulation mode, you start low, and then you go high. So it's just a silly feature in my opinion, but it has it. You can see it has a timer on it. If you go to 30 minutes, this will automatically shut off, which is great. Another thing is that it is a double pump, which most pumps are, but you can also tap it off and make it into a single pump too. So that's something to know. In terms of suction, this goes up to 260 mmHg, which is the mercury millimeter, whatever. It's the thing that they use to measure how strong pumps are. So I want to say a Spectra S1 and S2, I want to say that's like 270, 280. So it's a little less strong, but yeah, something to keep in mind. So how to use this pump? Really simple. You turn it on, you hook up everything, hook up this to this. You're gonna hook up the other end to your backflow protector. You're gonna hook that up to your flange, and you'll have a bottle here, and you just start using it. You put it in stimulation mode until you notice that you're having a letdown. Me personally, I can actually feel my letdowns, and then you switch over to expression mode. One thing that I forgot to mention in the feature section is that this pump actually does not allow you to control cycle time. So controlling cycle time is something that is unique to the Spectra pumps, particularly the S1 and the S2, because the S9 doesn't have that. And what the cycle time is, it's how often the pump sucks. So whether it goes suck, 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 or suck, 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 or suck. That's the cycle time. So if you have an S2 or an S1 or you're used to that, that's the cycle time. This one doesn't have it. What this one does, and which most pumps do, is that as you increase the strength, the cycle time drops. And that's why when you notice, if you find an not instruction manual, but if you go on Pinterest and it's like, how to use the S2, when they tell you to turn, I think it's down the cycle time, they tell you to turn up the pump strength, because that's what it's just doing this already. That's how to use it. All right, so pros and cons. So one thing I like about this is obviously it's really light. So I actually got one of these for my insurance. It was the second pump that I got for insurance because I started on an off year. I'll talk about this in another video, but I got another one for free. I actually got one for free, and it was like a lifesaver. My husband was going out of town and I had the kids, and I could just put this in my robe pocket and pop and just walk around with it. So that's number one. Number two, it does have a light, which makes it handy to pump at night. You know, you don't have to worry about like, oh, can I see? And it has a timer on it, so it makes everything easier. Another pro about this is that it is closed system. So that means that it's more hygienic technically. Okay, so closed system is actually a marketing term. No pump is technically closed system, but it's something that pump manufacturers are allowed to say. But it just makes it more hygienic. There's a backstop protector to protect the milk from getting into your pump. So that just means there's a membrane to separate your pump from your milk. So now we're gonna go over the cons of the pump. So the first thing that I don't like is that you have to hold this thing. It doesn't come with like a lanyard or anything to make it easier, which I think it should. If it's gonna be portable, help me make it portable. You can put it in a row pocket, but you can see it's kind of big and bulky. It's not gonna fit anywhere like in a normal pocket. So that's the first thing. The second thing I will say is the suction is not as strong in my opinion. Technically, when you look at the specs, it's not as strong either. When you look at the specs and compare the MMHG of an S2 and S1 to this, it's slightly not as strong, but I noticed it. So that's the second thing. The third thing is it's not as customizable as the Spectra S1 and S2 if you're used to that. For me, that wasn't a huge con, but that is a con if that's something that you like to control the cycle time and your pump strength. I don't really care about that. The next cons are cons for me personally. So the first thing that I hated about this pump is the memory feature. I mentioned that earlier. When you start this pump off, it stops where you left off, and if you don't forget to like unsnap it, it like yanks the shit out of your boobs and you're like, ah, why'd you do that? So that's the first thing that I don't like. I hate that feature. Just do away with it, Spectra. The next thing that I did not like about this pump is that single pumping requires you to remove the tubing. So I was spoiled for my baby Buddha, and you can just like flip a switch. So having to like remove it is it's a hassle. It's not the end of the world, but I just like to be able to flip a tab and go. So my final verdict on the S9. So the S9 I think is a good pump. I think a lot of people would benefit from this, especially if you have a bunch of kids, you're on the move a lot. You're really gonna like this small footprint compared to the S9, which is like a freaking bowling ball. Cute bowling ball, but it's like a bowling ball. So if you are on the move and you know that like, hey, I don't wanna be attached to a wall, I just need to, go here and there, the S9 I would say is a really good choice for you. Not as strong as the S2 and the S1, but depending on the type of pumper you are, it might be good enough. Like for me, I was very sensitive and I could never get up to the highest level. So this was more than enough. So yeah, overall, really good pump, but let me know what you think in the comments and we'll talk later. Bye.